Alright, today we're going to be playing Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered. That's what they're calling it. A little cheesy, but it works. I guess, to an extent. You know, that's not something I would call my game, my remastered game, but whatever works for you, works for you. You know, if they like it, hey, I can't hate on them. But this game initially launched back in 2009 for the Xbox 360, PS3, and PC. It was pretty well received, it was pretty well liked, and it was pretty much forgotten within about maybe a year or so. It boasts some pretty great physics and things like that. You have Wrecking Crew, you have multiplayer, you have bonus missions, you have your local area network games. That's what LAN stands for, short for local area network, which is essentially what you would have done back in the day when you played games like Halo, you know, with you and your buddies in the other room with a Ethernet cable connected to two different Xboxes. It's pretty awesome. You have options such as your controls, obviously, control layout, your display options. This game does support up to 4K. You have your refresh rate, which is just, you know, your frame rate pretty much. You know, window mode, you have VSync, which pretty much locks your game to that refresh rate if your computer can handle it, if your hardware can handle it, which it can, because this game is pretty well optimized. And it's a pretty old game. You know, it's about 10 years old. This is just remastered. But even the remastered version, it doesn't really take a whole lot to run. It's a pretty light game. You have your extras, which is, honestly, it's just credits. It's not really a whole lot. It just kind of shows who developed the game and things like that. So, that's mainly it. You have Wrecking Crew, which is just you go online and you wreck things with other people. Well, yeah, you go online and you wreck things with other people and or by yourself. I mean, it just depends, you know, kind of how you want to play. You have multiplayer, which is just, you know, your standard multiplayer, you know, death match, you know, things like that. I mean, I don't know if it's still online. I haven't tried it online yet. But, yeah, those are some of your options here. I'm going to go ahead and load up my game that I have saved here. I haven't really done too many missions. This game does run really well. I'm going to get more into hardware here. This game, again, like I always say in my reviews, I always, you know, give people a little bit of information on the kind of hardware the game will run most efficiently on. It does run very efficiently on my hardware, and my hardware, like I said, many a times, is not the best. And you can run this on pretty much any decent modern PC. It'll just be fine. You can easily get 60 FPS. Just maybe turn down some settings and things like that. Now here you have your weapons. You know, your ammo for your weapons. This is your weapons box at your home base. You have a home base. Because in this game, you are a vigilante. You know, you're an anti-hero or whatever you want to call it. You know, a protagonist. You're a protagonist. You know, because the story in this game consists of you just, you know, you're just a miner. You know, that's why you have your trusty axe. That's your main weapon in this game, is your mining axe. And what happened is the EDF decided to try and take over Mars, because Mars was colonized by humans, you know, in this fictional world. And they decided to get big heads. And then they decided to try and, as they decided to try and take everybody over, they decided to kill your brother, actually. And then they decided to try and kill you as well. So that's pretty much the gist of it. And you're just out here to pretty much set things straight. And the way you're going to do that is by gaining trust with the local people and building up a resistance. And a faction. That's why it's called Red Faction, because you're building up a resistance faction. And one way you do that is by destroying EDF property, destroying their property, destroying them. And as you do that, it builds up the resistance. It makes people join you and fight by your side. So you'll have instances where you're going to have EDF agents shooting at you and trying to take you down. And these guys will stop. You know, the general population will stop and get out of their vehicles, and they will help assist you in battle. You know, it's really neat, actually. But that's not the main reason anyone really plays this. The main reason anyone ever plays this game, really ever plays this game, the ones who actually still know about it or still even care about it, is because of the crash, the physics models on the buildings. I mean, they're incredible. Like, you can go in here and do whatever you want. You know? Look at that. That's why. That's why they play it, because of the physics models on the vehicle. Well, the vehicle's physics models are not so great. You know, the building physics models are okay. The vehicle physics models are terrible. They float all over the place. It's like they're full of helium or something. It's really weird. And I think they did that to simulate the lower gravity on Mars, because Mars is a smaller planet than Earth, so it has less of a gravitational pull. But still, it just does not make the vehicles all that fun to drive. And the selection of vehicles isn't that great either. It's only probably maybe 10 to 15 vehicles. And as you can see right here, I'm going into a territory where it's heavily EDF controlled. So there's a lot of, you know, property and stuff I gotta destroy of the EDFs to get their strength down. You know, make them weaker. Just weaken their forces. And one great way to do that is to destroy their property. You know, and one way you do that is by just blowing things up. That's what makes it really neat. I remember when I first played this game, I thought it was one of the most amazing physics models I've ever seen, as far as vehicle destruction goes. You know, I thought it was great. Yeah, you'll die pretty quick if you're not careful in this game. But fortunately, it loads really fast. You just hit continue and you're back in the game in a matter of seconds. One thing I will say about the remastered version is it doesn't look much better than the standard version. If you already have the standard version, no reason to go ahead, you know, go out and, you know, rush out and buy this one. I mean, you can wait. It's not a super duper big deal or anything. I mean, I bought it on sale during the holidays, during Christmas. I think I paid like $5 for the remastered version. And when you buy the remastered version on Steam anyway, as far as I know, you get the original version with it as well. So it's a pretty good little deal. Yeah. And this vehicle right here is one of the faster vehicles in the game. Some of the vehicles do have top-mounted guns on them. In some vehicles, you can just shoot the top-mounted gun by just pressing A like I'm doing right now. And you don't really have any real aim, like, or any real control of where it shoots. Well, you kind of do. It's based on where the vehicle's pointing. It's pretty stationary. But there's other vehicles, like the army vehicles, you have to actually hit, I think it's hit X to switch into the turret on the back of the vehicle, and you have full control. You know, full on turret and everything. But it's a pretty sweet setup overall. It's just, the biggest gripe, like I said, is just the vehicle handling and the vehicle physics and vehicle characteristics are just not that great. Especially when you get to the faster, lighter vehicles like this one. Like, you hit the slightest bump, oh, there you go. See, you're up, you're on your roof, and then you're screwed. And when you're in some of these harder missions, I got lucky there, it rolled back over. But when you're in some of these harder missions, that's a problem. Especially when you gotta be really, really fast and chase down guys. So a lot of these missions consist of you collecting intel, like this right here, like these little side missions in particular. Because every mission helps you bring down the EDF task force, it helps weaken it. So you want to go ahead and do these little side ones as well, because they help too. And eventually, your goal is to eventually just to pretty much get control of the whole entire territory of Mars, and then you guys will pretty much drive out the EDF, and you guys can do your thing. But you want to go ahead and pick these up anyway. They really help. I'm not gonna do that one right now, but you know, they're kind of a little tedious. They kind of do get a little tedious over time. One thing I will say about this game as well, the buildings and stuff, they over time will not rebuild themselves like they do in some other games. They'll clean up, but they won't rebuild themselves. I mean, they will eventually, but they're not going to rebuild themselves like, you know, 3 minutes later, you know, like in some other games, you know, like in Mercenaries or whatever, you know, what have you. But one of the great things about destroying buildings in this game is it allows you to get scrap, or even vehicles, even destroying vehicles or crates. And the scrap is used for you. It's used to upgrade weapons, and it's used to upgrade, you know, different abilities within your character, like health and things like that. That's how you advance your character in this game. So that's one of the neat little features. Now, yeah, that's generally how that works. Like this jetpack I got here. There we go. Let's get some scrap like this. You can only throw so many at a time. That's part of the upgrade as well. You can upgrade how many you can throw as well. It could take it. Oh, actually, no, it can't. Yeah, you don't want to do that. If you destroy too many innocent people, it drives down your force, your faction force. So you don't want to destroy innocents, because they're the ones who are going to be helping your butt out. Yeah, like that right there, there's 100 scrap. And obviously, as you want better and better upgrades, it's going to cost more and more scrap. So it's going to be harder and harder. But as you see right here, you see he just pops right out of the vehicle. He doesn't care. Because, you know, in this area, I have this area taken over pretty much already. So he doesn't mind if I take his vehicle, because we're all on the same team here. But yeah, that's just kind of my gist of the game, and you know, kind of some of the features of it, and kind of, you know, some of the functionality of the game. You know, I would say it's a pickup. You know, it's a must buy. It runs on pretty much anything. I'd say it's probably a solid. If I had to give it a rating, I'd say it's probably a solid 8 out of 10. You know, it's something that's worth picking up, man. But until next time, you guys, keep watching. I appreciate the support and the comments, and kind of let me know how I can improve things. And you know, I'll see you in the next video.